So it's July of 2009 on a Friday night, and I'm standing in front of Osaka Station in Japan. I'm wearing a white polo t-shirt, khaki shorts, my Birkenstock sandals with a little backpack, and my eyes are lit. I'm so excited. Earlier that week, my coworker in Tokyo said that I would never find accommodation this weekend because it's the Gion Matsuri in Kyoto, and that's the largest festival in Japan. People come from all around the world, and they book accommodation months in advance. So I was feeling so proud of myself because I bet he didn't think I would book accommodation in Osaka, which is 30 minutes away from Kyoto. So I was so excited at all the photos I would show off to my coworker on Monday, and now all I needed to do was find my guest house. And this guest house is called Peace Guest House. It's a 15-minute walk away from the station, and I thought it would be a piece of cake. My phone was dead because I had traveled from Tokyo the whole day, but I wasn't worried. So I started walking, and I soon realized that this was harder than I thought. I had a paper map with an address, but in case you didn't know, Japan has no street names. So I might as well have had an address in Greek. I thought that, okay, I have some, simple instructions. The landmark is a ramen shop, and, in the corner of a lane, there will be the guest house. Every corner is a ramen shop in Japan. And so that also was a moot point. I might as well have been looking for a street lamp. And finally, I thought that I speak Japanese, so I would just ask someone. Well, by the time this was, close to 11 o'clock, and there was nobody to ask. The last office worker had turned the corner, and, I was walking on a quiet street. So at this point, I was no longer very excited about the photos I would take this weekend, but I was more, my hands were getting clammy, I was getting cold, there were butterflies in my stomach, and I was getting nervous because, it was getting dark and quiet, and honestly, I think I was quite lost and very exhausted. I turned a corner, and in front of me was, a relatively large street, but it was really peaceful. Imagine 2 rows of traditional Japanese houses, 2 stories, thatched roofs, and each had a lit square sign that said moon, sun, stars. When you look at it, I thought it was so poetic and so Japanese that I was like, wow, I'm in Japan. And then it hit me, oh my God, my guest house is called Peace Guest House. I'm on a street, it's incredibly peaceful, and it's as Japanese can be. So I was tired and nervous, but I was rejuvenated because I thought I was in the right place. So I keep walking, and I try to find the house number, and as I was approaching the end of the street, I couldn't find it. So, my hands were shaking, I was tired, I was so sure I was in the right place, and I decided, okay, I need to ask someone, if not, I'm going to sleep on the street tonight. And this was, 11 p.m. already. So I decided to knock on one of these doors, and it's one of those wooden doors with, square grids, and it had like Japanese paper where you could somewhat see the light coming through. And I opened it. It creaked a little, and it made my heart jump. I stepped in, the lights were dim, the ceiling was low, and I thought, wow, it looks like a tea house. In front of me were 2 women. The first one on the right was an old lady with silvery hair tied in a bun, and she's dressed in a plain blue kimono, like a Japanese old lady. Next to her was a very young lady. Black hair, also tied in a bun, her makeup looking like a immaculate geisha. Her kimono was pink with gold trimmings, and half her boob was hanging out. And I thought, okay, why is half-dressed lady in a tea house? Never mind, but I'm so lost, I need to ask somebody. So I turned to the old lady, and I asked her, where is Peace Guest House? She shook her head really furiously. even before I finished my sentence, as if to say, "You're in the wrong place." As I turned around, I see another man and a half-dressed lady walking down the stairs. This time, I turned around really quickly and walked out of the house and walked back up the street and stopped. Oh my God. What I thought was my peace guest house, a tea house, is actually a brothel. And every single house on this street with the moon and the sun and the stars was a brothel. And at 11 p.m. at night, I was lost in the middle of Osaka in a red light district. And I had no idea where I was going. So at this point, I rolled my shoulders back and I take a big sigh and I said, I must have missed something. I walked back up the street, trying my best to spot something I didn't see. And suddenly, in the corner, I see a red lamp with the words ramen. I walk in and I ask, "Where is Peace Guest House?" And this boisterous ramen chef looked at me and said, "Yumi-san's Peace Guest House. You see that dark lane across? Walk in there and you'll find it." I looked across and imagined a really dark, narrow lane where, honestly, I thought it was a drain, and it could barely squeeze one person in there. And I would not have walked down there in the middle of the night if nobody had told me to. So with a deep breath, I start walking, and there, in the middle of the lane, I saw in handwritten sign, white paint, the words Peace Guest House. As I stepped into the guest house, settled down in my tatami bed for the night, I'm no longer thinking about all the photos I'm going to show my coworker. I'm no longer scared. My hands are no longer clammy. But I'm laughing to myself at how many times I have been wrong and surprised tonight, and how things aren't always what they seem. Thank you.